Alrighty, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the Eating the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass. Live and living the color here with you on YouTube Live. How we all doing, ladies and gents? Today we reach a milestone. Today we reach a milestone that I'll be honest, I never thought I'd get past 20. To be honest with you, I thought after college ended that I would be done doing this show for sure. And I don't know. I guess it's just my passion for the genre that keeps me going. I know that there's just some kind of thing about me every week. I'm just like, oh, I want to do a show this week. I got to talk about something this week. And even if I don't have anything that's on the brain or anything, like I always pull stuff up and I'm always like, let's do it. Let's do another goddamn episode, man, of Grande's Graveyard. So we're celebrating 50 episodes. We got a bunch of people in Naheezy already. Aiden Favre's in Naheezy. What's up, good brother? AJ's here. How you doing, buddy? And Ryan's here. Holy shit, 3 people less than a goddamn minute. That's too sweet. That's too sweet. So, it's crazy. I can't believe we've been through 50 episodes. I've had so many wonderful guests on. I've had so many just, I think, really fun, memorable episodes and good discussions. And it's something where I'm really glad that I started doing this. Like, back in college, I'll never forget like the reason I started the show. I give a little bit of a backstory as to why I started. I remember my buddy Johnny came up to me and he was like, "Oh, they're starting up the radio station here," and I was like, "No goddamn way!" So I ran over to. They were having like a meeting, and they were like, "Oh, we need somebody to do like a pop culture show. Like we have sports." Originally I was going to do fantasy football. Like that was I wanted to do a show on fantasy football and just analyze everything. And after a while, they were like, "No, we have sports people. We need a pop culture guy, somebody to talk about something else that's not sports," because I guess they have so many kids that like that stuff. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to go with some horror, baby. That's my biggest passion in the world. Why not do a podcast on it? So, I started the show. I did so many goddamn episodes, and man, it's crazy that this is the 50th one. So I am really super stoked, excited to answer y'all's questions. I see that you've got your liquor in the comments. Everybody's got some beer, some liquor. Yo, I appreciate it, man. All beverages are welcome on the graveyard. I've got your questions here. I'm going to answer them on the old phone. I guess we could just dive right in. I originally was going to do a top 10 list of like my favorite horror scenes instead of the Q&A. Maybe I'll do it together. It just depends on how long I want to run this. But I did get quite a few questions, so I can just dive right into those and we can just have a fun old discussion. So crack your brews open, your brewskis, your dooskies, maybe some chips, all that good stuff, because we about to answer some questions, baby. These are just in the order that I had them on YouTube, so no particular order here. First question comes from Resurrection Reviews. That's my good buddy, Steve. Steve, shout out to you, my friend. I love you, Steve. Steve's good people. Steve has supported my channel since before Grande's Graveyard was even a thing. So Steve is always one of my favorite people. He writes in, "Congrats, John, on 50 episodes." Thank you, sir. Here's my question. What are your top 5 horror anthology television shows and your favorite episode from each? Wow. That's interesting. Okay, so number one anthology horror television show's got to go to the Twilight Zone. Then, well, I could do my top 5, and then I'll do my favorite episode for me. So Twilight Zone would definitely be number one. Then I'm going to come in with Tales from the Dark Side. I adore Tales from the Dark Side. Just one of my favorite shows of all time. I have the complete collection over there. I love it. Tales from the Dark Side is my shit. Tales from the Crypt is excellent. I think one that's really underrated, nobody ever mentions, is Monsters. That was the show that was after Tales from the Dark Side that Richard P. Rubenstein produced, and it was a lot of like similar. It had the same budget as Tales from the Dark Side, but every episode had to do with some kind of a monster. So I always loved that kind of gimmick, like with a show, and it was cheap, and it was the Tales from the Dark Side of the '90s. I always really, really liked monsters. And then number 5, I'm going to say Masters of Horror. So that's my 5 favorite. Yeah, AJ said it before I said it. Monsters number 4. Yeah, I knew it. He knew it. He got me. That Masters of Horror would be at the 5th spot. So I'll say favorite Masters of Horror episode. There's quite a few I love. I love both Argento ones. Jennifer and Peltz, the one with Meatloaf and the fucking haunted raccoon Peltz. That's fucking classic. And the gore, that's classic Argento. And then Jennifer is a really good one with covering sexuality. Argento tackling the sexuality of horror, and I love that episode. I also really love the one with George Wendt, the John Landis one, Family, and he's like a serial killer. George Wendt, the guy, Norm from Cheers. That's a really good one. I really love the Fair-Haired Child, which like nobody fucking mentions. I think that's arguably I would say that's my favorite one. That's a really good one that nobody ever talks about. William Malone directed that. Really good. And it was from the writer, I believe, of Halloween H2O, which I thought that was really weird, but yeah, he wrote that episode. And I can't fail to mention Pick Me Up. Pick Me Up, one of my favorite episodes of Masters of Horror. I absolutely fucking love Michael Moriarty, Larry Cohen directing, David J. Shaw as the writer. He does a great job. He also wrote Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Just excellent, excellent episode. Fun. It's like the old school serial killer and the new school serial killer coming together, and then there's the final girl in between them, literally. That's one of my favorite episodes of television ever, man. I've watched it to death. I love it. And another honorable mention, Right to Die. Loved Right to Die from season 2, written by John Esposito, who actually lives like 10 minutes away from my house. Coolest guy. He's actually writing for the new Creepshow series as well. He's such a nice guy, man. Really, really like John Esposito's work. So that's Masters of Horror. Monsters, I'm going to say my favorite episode. I got 2. Number 1 would be The Match Game. It's with Ashley Lawrence, Tori Spelling, and Sasha Jensen from Halloween 4. Yes, Brady himself. Get upstairs, Rachel! Michael comes, squeezes his fucking head, and gotta love Grady. Or Brady, I'm sorry. But that one's really good. It's basically these bunch of kids, they break into this haunted mansion, and they all try to tell like scary stories, and they light a match every time one of them's talking. And when the match burns out, you have to hand the matchbook to the next person. They light another match, and they have to continue the story. Basically, the story becomes true, and all shit hits the fan. And like, I absolutely love that episode. It's easily my favorite episode of Monsters. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It felt like almost like a Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark story come to life, and with great acting. I mean, Ashley Lawrence, one of my favorite final girls, just a beautiful, beautiful woman. To this day, still looks great, from the Hellraiser films, of course. She's just gorgeous. Love Ashley Lawrence. And I always thought it was cool to see Grady in something else. Brady in something. I could keep calling him Grady. I don't know why. Brady in something else. It was cool to see that. And of course, Tori Spelling always being an airhead. Gotta love Tori Spelling. So that one. And then the other one I love is called Pool Sharks. And it's just an amazing episode. There's this guy shooting pool, and this woman comes in, and she's super hot. And he's like, all right, I'll play you one game of pool. If I win, I get to fuck you. And if you win, you get whatever you want. And she says, okay, if I win, I want your body. And they're playing, and as they play, he slowly but surely realizes that he's playing a vampire. So he's technically playing for his life. Kind of an old take on the Twilight Zone episode with Jack Klugman and Jonathan Winters. But it's with the monsters twist to it, and like, a sexy, seductive vampire. And man, I love this because they start cheating to fuck the other over. Like, they're like chalking up the balls and shit. And I was just like, I watched it one night. It was like, it must have been like 4:00 in the morning. I threw it on, and I was just like, really got into it. Just thought it was the funniest shit ever. Absolutely love that episode of Monsters. Pool Sharks. Easily the most fun episode of Monsters. I believe they're all on Amazon Prime, on IMDb free watch or whatever. I think you can watch all the Monsters episodes. So The Match Game, Pool Sharks, easily my favorites for Monsters. Tales from the Crypt, people are going to hate me because this is going to be really, really, really kind of predictable, but it's Counting Cards. I fucking love Counting Cards. I think that's an epic episode. Easily my favorite Tales from the Crypt episode. There's also one, I don't remember the name of it, but it was like, I don't know if people like know who Sam Kinison is. Sam Kinison's like one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time. He's since sadly passed on. But there's an episode that I believe he either wrote or directed and acted in, where like he's in somebody's head and he's yelling at them to do stuff. And like, it's fucking awesome. Like, I love me some Sam Kinison. I really like the one Schwarzenegger directed too. Like, people hate that one. I kind of like that one. There's so many Tales from the Crypt. That's one show I definitely should pick up on DVD. I'm not sure if like they have a whole set like Tales from the Dark Side, but I freaking love Counting Cards. That's easily my favorite. That is the most fun one. AJ writes in, 99% sure he could have scored with Ashley Lawrence, but didn't because he wasn't single. Oh, well, I would have tried even if I was even if I was in a relationship. Ashley Lawrence is a once in a lifetime fucking woman, man. And to this day, hasn't like aged a day. Like she looks incredible to this day, man. Absolutely love me some Ashley Lawrence. Only Tales from the Crypt I saw was with Santa. Yeah, I haven't seen as many Tales from the Crypt as I have Tales from the Dark Side, Twilight Zone, but it's definitely a fucking great show, I will say. Kinison was the man. Yo, rest in peace, Sam Kinison. He was also in Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield. Like, I just think he was such a great talent that nobody ever really mentions nowadays. But I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved him. And Aiden writes in, I saw a DVD set of Tales from the Crypt at Walmart. Really? Was it all 7 seasons or was it like individual? Like I would just buy them all together personally. I wouldn't want to buy them separately. Like Tales from the Dark Side, that's a great set. I bought it. It was like $30 for every episode. Like you can't beat that. But mentioning that, on to Tales from the Dark Side, of course, one of my favorites. There's so many I love. And since I've gone back and rewatched most of them in October, I can clearly say that like I have a few favorites. One of my favorite, The Last Car. Absolutely love The Last Car. That one is in, I believe, late in the second season, and it's this woman. She's taking the train home for Thanksgiving break from school, and she's in the last car of this train, and like every time they go through a tunnel, something crazy happens. Like somebody dies, or somebody goes nuts, or somebody disappears, and she's panic stricken. And like all these people on the train are telling her, "Oh, it's fine, everything's gonna be okay," and she just absolutely is freaking the fuck out. And like as a child, when I saw that one, it scared me. And throwing it back on for a rewatch recently, I thought it was sensational, man. I absolutely love that episode of Tales from the Dark Side. The Last Car, excellent stuff. I love, of course, Anniversary Dinner. That one's really fun. I think my favorite episode would have to be the family reunion episode. That was one of the last episodes of the series. It was directed by Tom Savini, and it basically starred Patricia Tallman, who was in the Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake, and she was also in like Knight Rider. She showed her titties in that. They would look voluptuous. I'll give a thumbs up to that. Anyway, she had some voluptuous titties, but she's like this mother, concerned mother, and the father is like hoarding the son in the bedroom. And like you don't know what the fuck's going on when it starts. And like slowly but surely you realize that the kid is a werewolf. And Savini just does excellent makeup effects, all practical, and they really do tell the story of a family, like a family hit by this kind of incident. And like I just thought it was so well done. The practical effects, the story itself, Patricia Tallman's acting, I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. It's easily my favorite episode of the series. And Aiden says all 7 seasons. That's cool. Okay, so for a reasonable price, I'll pick it up. Dude, totally. I highly recommend Tales from the Dark Side. I remember the one watching the Savini one with the creature, red eyes, scared the shit out of me. Yes, that's Inside the Closet, another really great one. I absolutely love Tales from the Dark Side, man. And all the Savini ones are really good. I have seen the movie, and it was in the True Creep Show 3. Oh, yes. I love Tales from the Dark Side of the movie. That's excellent. You get a haircut yet? No, my hair's still awful. I'm still, well, not too bad. I guess the hat kind of flattened it out a little bit, but I still kind of look severely Amish, you know, like I definitely, like it's sticking out in all sorts of places, but I don't know, man. The haircut, the barber hasn't opened up by me, so I can't, there ain't nothing I could do about it. I had Mama Grande try. She gave me a trim, but nothing like the real thing, I guess. Yeah, so I mentioned the Savini ones. There's one called No Strings where it's this mobster guy. He murders his partner and then fucking decides to have like a marionette show of the dead guy. Like it's fucking scary as hell. Like I don't know why. That one always scared the shit out of me though. I love Deliver Us from Evil. Of course, me and Gid Dahmer all love that one. And that's the one with the woman who like kind of is the devil and she can make things happen, and it's fucking funny, man. There's a scene where this bowl of fried chicken falls down on somebody's lap because they ask for her for it. Like I don't know, it's just stupid, but it's fucking funny, man. I really enjoy that show. I love me some Tales from the Dark Side. There's tons of good ones. Cletus Cassidy, yeah. No Sundance Kid though. Devin's here. What's up, good brother? Hope all is well. And then get into the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone, my favorite episode, man, it varies a lot. I love Come Wander With Me. I love The Shelter. I love one more Paul Bearer. I love that one. I love People Are Like All Over. That's a really good one. A Nice Place to Visit is another really good one. There's Twilight Zone, like literally, I could have like a top 80 list. Like I think there's so many fucking good ones. The best horror like episode would have to be one called 22. And people don't realize this, but Final Destination ripped off that episode of The Twilight Zone. It's basically about this woman who she's in the hospital, and every night she has this dream that she goes down to room 22, which is the morgue, and there's this woman in there, and she's just like really hot, seductive nurse, and she just goes, "There's room for one more in here, honey." And every night she's having this reoccurring nightmare. And then the twist is definitely where the original Final Destination got its idea from. And I just every time I watch that episode, uh, I just love it. I think that's a really, really brilliant episode. There's definitely a lot of Twilight Zone episodes where you're like, holy shit, that's where they came up with this movie. Like, there's definitely an episode that Poltergeist rips off called Little Girl Lost. And this girl, she falls into like the wall of her house and she's in another dimension. They have to get her out and shit. And they bring in a Carol Ann. Like, it's totally the Poltergeist episode, but before Poltergeist even existed. So you see where Poltergeist got its idea. Paul Bearer. Yes, the episode's called One More Paul Bearer. And it's basically about this man who he was an asshole his whole life and he grew up to be like a billionaire. And one night he calls down these three people that have impacted his life negatively. And he taunts them and says to them that at midnight there's going to be a bomb that's going to destroy the entire world. And if they apologize, he'll let them and their loved ones stay in the bomb shelter with him. And the entire episode is those people saying, "We're not staying in here with you. We are not doing it. We refuse to apologize." And it's just whole narrative on, will you give in to a terrorist, basically? And I love, there's a line in the episode where he says, friends, family, love, relationships, that's all important, but there are a few other things that come more importantly, and pride is one of them. And I love that episode. I just think that's excellent. Oh, Mark's into easy. Twilight Zone, you say? Of course I say the Twilight Zone. I did a great episode on the Twilight Zone with Mark, man. We had a really fun conversation. Mark was a really fun co-host because he challenged the shit out of me. Like, he's really quick. You should have your own show. I would watch the hell out of that, man. He did a couple live streams playing, I think, was it Skyrim? I think it was Skyrim. That was awesome. Yeah. Oh, Undertaker. Ha ha. Yeah, dude. Gotta love the Undertaker. Time Enough at Last. One of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. Dude, can't go wrong with the T Zone. So many great ones. I absolutely love the Twilight Zone. Easily one of my favorite shows of all time. Maybe one day I'll do another top 20 list. I've done a couple Twilight Zone episodes, and they're definitely like my highest viewed videos. So I really appreciate that stuff. So that's Steve's question. Steve, thank you for chiming in. I really appreciate it. Next one comes from Good Brother Nate, the horror boy. Yes. What's your favorite horror soundtrack of all time? Wow. That's a really good fucking question. American Werewolf in London is the one that pops out to me, definitely off the rip, but I love, of course, Return of the Living Dead. I mean, just some of the fucking songs in that are just absolutely amazing. Tonight we'll make love till we die. And Linnea Quigley dancing on the fucking tombstone, and Scuzz and all these motherfuckers, and Suicide. And you think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life. I fucking Return of the Living Dead is, do you want to party? That's definitely one of my favorite soundtracks, easily, because it's like mid 80s punk rock at its finest. 1985 is like the greatest year of all time. I really wish I was alive for it because it looks like the most kick-ass year. All the movies that year were kick-ass. The music was kick-ass. Just everything about it was pretty kick-ass. So Return of the Living Dead would definitely jump out at me. And I know I have to mention this one because I know Nate loves it. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Dude, some of the songs in that movie, I fucking sing on a regular day basis. Like fucking the song towards the Sinead O'Connor song, I want your hands on me. I fucking adore that shit. And we're living in desperate times. This is desperate times, my dear. That's just like all that shit, man. I get so much enjoyment out of it. I absolutely adore the Elm Street 4 soundtrack. AJ said anything by Goblin. Of course. Dawn of the Dead is probably my favorite soundtrack in a horror film. Of course, you can't not mention Suspiria. I have Suspiria right here. I mean, can't really beat that music in that movie. Anything really Argento at that time. was just fucking fantastic. Anything that Goblin does. Also, I have to mention Fabio Frizzi of Zombie, House by the Cemetery, The Beyond, City of Living Dead. The City of Living Dead is fucking amazing fucking soundtrack, man. My buddy has the vinyl. Fucking incredible, man. I love City of Living Dead. Voice is like a cross between Fergie and Jesus. You're not going to meet Randy Jackson and not get his autograph, dog. I love me some Step Brothers, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Nightmare on Elm Street 4 soundtrack, Dream Master is awesome. Dude, couldn't agree more. Me and Nate did a commentary on that on Instagram, and it was so much fun. We were fucking singing. People probably thought we were on acid, but like we were completely sober. That's why it was even more funny. Yes, Fabio, dude. I love me some Fabio Frizzi, man. Like his scores give me fucking chills, man. Like the zombie score, City of Living Dead, like all those movies, man. Excellent, man. Gotta love. Long live Fabio Frizzi, man. Absolutely love Fabio. And that is not Nate's last question. I will definitely give more input on how much support Nate is giving my channel. So don't worry about that. Ryan writes in. Good old buddy Ryan Schneider. What's your favorite Blu-ray you bought in the last 5 years? That is a goddamn coincidence and a half. It's probably a tie. I grabbed both of these. Definitely the Synapse Suspiria Blu-ray. I mean, this is just, I was waiting so long for this, and I know how much work and dedication that Don May Jr. put into this. And it's simply sensational. I love the transfer. I believe this was I think it was a 4K restoration, yes, of the original uncut film. It looks sensational. The colors just pop off the screen. If there's any horror movie ever that you're going to watch in high def blue, it's Suspiria on Blu-ray. This is the best horror Blu-ray I own. I absolutely adore this film. The transfer, some of the features are good. I will say that they don't get like the cast and crew to do features. They did more like film critics and film analysis people. But I honestly didn't mind the features. I thought the features were pretty cool, personally. Definitely stuff that I had not seen before, so I enjoyed that stuff. And I believe, isn't there? Yeah, the director of photography, Luciano Tovoli, he actually approved this. So that's pretty cool. He's the guy that shot the fucking film. So that's pretty awesome. I adore this Blu-ray. Absolutely. And then the second one that I would say, I have to mention this because it's an amazing set, is The Last House on the Left Arrow Blu-ray. This is fucking incredible. It comes with a little booklet here all about the film. It's absolutely epic. Just absolutely love it. And then of course the original film on Blu-ray high def. This is a reversible cover art, of course, with this. But I'm kind of a mark for the old school black and white and then some red text on the bottom. I'm sorry the glare is really bad there, but Mary, 17, is dying, and even for her, the worst is yet to come. She lived in the last house on the left. Fucking one of my favorite movies of all time. I add the mini poster over there. I don't want to show the whole room, but yeah, I freaking love this set. This was like 30. This is the most I've ever dropped on a Blu-ray. It was like $30. Absolutely fucking worth it. It has like 4 different cuts of the fucking film. Great special features, new special features, old special features, interviews with David Hess, interviews at conventions and all that good stuff, screenings of it, interviews with fans. This had it all. This is the best fucking, definitely for features. There's no better Blu-ray out there than this one. Like they have every feature ever made by that, man. It just every fucking feature. So that would definitely be the answer to that question. Absolutely love that blue. Okay, we got some comments. Ordering it now. Hell yeah, good brother. I hope so. That's a Spirit Blu-ray is so good. Dude, yeah, I know Aiden has it, man. Dude, that Blu-ray is fucking fantastic. I showed it to a couple of my buddies, man. They were just like in awe of how good it looks. Like that movie is made for high def. That and a movie like Inferno are made to be seen in high def. I hope they come out with a Mother of Tears Region 1 Blu-ray, man, because I know you love that movie too. And man, I love the DVD. Like I'm happy to have the DVD, but man, they need to get a Blu-ray of that Region 1 because I'd buy the shit out of that. Last House release is fantastic. Dude, yes. Anything Arrow does is great. I just got the woman in on Blu-ray from Arrow. Arrow is fucking great, man. I absolutely love them. Haven't seen Last House. Dude, highly recommend it. And it's definitely an easy, accessible movie to see for sure. Tits, what's this tits business? Dude, you know I love me some titties. She didn't show her tits until she went legits. She didn't show the tits. Dude, R.I.P. David Hess. One of my favorite fucking actors of all time. I watched My Soul to Take and it was terrible, but very entertaining. Bro, My Soul to Take is one of the greatest bad movies of all time, for sure. It's fucking such a piece of shit. Somebody turn on the prayer conditioning. When I heard that in the theater, I fucking nearly died. Like, I need to be resuscitated or something. Okay, next one. Weirdly enough, the next question in comes from Aiden. Aiden Vabra. If you could only watch 3 horror movies for the rest of your life, what would they be? Ooh, that is a very good one. So in a lot of ways, it could just be like my top three, which would be Dawn of the Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Shining. However, however, I think I'd have to shake it up a little bit because as much as I love The Shining, I've seen it to death. Like I don't know if I need to rewatch that for the rest of my life. Actually, I may throw this son of a bitch in the boat. I love Sleepaway Camp 3. I can watch that movie over and over and over again and never get sick of it and want to watch it more. So I will say, you know what? I'll substitute The Shining for Sleepaway Camp 3. I'm substituting the steak dinner for the greasy fucking sack of burgers and fries from White Castle, motherfuckers. That's what I'm doing. Sleepaway Camp 3, those titties are in my boat, okay? That's coming on the island with me, all that good stuff. That you got to bring those movies. So Dawn of the Dead, Texas Chainsaw, a little Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland, baby. Absolutely love all 3 movies. What's my favorite Giallo comes in from the horror boy, good brother Nate, who I meant to say before, Nate has been one of my biggest supporters since I started YouTube too. I just really want to say I really appreciate all your support, Nate. I really appreciate that, man. It really means the world to me. And to answer your question, my favorite Giallo, it's got to be Deep Red. Absolutely love Deep Red. This is the Arrow release of Deep Red as well. Absolutely looks stunning on Blu-ray. And this is actually the Italian version with subtitles, which I appreciate. I'm not a big dubbing guy. I'll rather just read your subtitles. Like I'm just kind of one of those people. I also have the Don't Torture a Duckling where it's the that edition. It's not the dubbed edition. I don't mind a bad dubbing, but if I could just read subtitles, I prefer that. And this is that edition. And man, when you talk about great Jallos, I mean, you look no further than this movie. Just the amazing score, the amazing kills, the just overall tone of the entire film. I love the profondo Russo, just everything about it, man. I just adore it. That little creepy doll scene where it goes up on the tricycle, which was ripped off by Saw, of course. And man, this movie has it all. Fantastic twist ending, great looking gore, amazing kills, everything that you want in a Giallo film. I think it's Argento's second best movie of all time. Because every time I watch it, I go, Suspiria is my favorite, but that Deep Red movie, man, like every fucking time I watch it, I almost want to say I put it over Suspiria, but it's hard to do. It's an absolute masterpiece, man. I adore Deep Red. That would be my favorite Giallo film of all time. Okay, we got more comments. AJ says TCM Halloween Dawn of the Dead. Can't go wrong with that. He's got 2 of my top 3 in there. Yeah, and Halloween, of course, a fucking masterpiece. I just wanted to throw in something a little bit more fun, I guess, than The Shining. Like, I love The Shining, don't get me wrong, but like, I have seen the fucking film to death. Like, I could throw in a fun slasher movie, I guess. I let do the prayer conditioning. That's fucking holy shit. Deep Red is probably my favorite Dario Argento film, dude. I could totally see why. It's on the verge. It's like those two phenomena opera. I fucking love Trauma, the Stenhole Syndrome, Mother of Tears. A lot of people would say Inferno. I would say Inferno is definitely my top 10, but it's definitely lower for some reason. I don't get into that one as much as the others. Bird with Crystal Plumage, Four Flies on Gray Velvet. Can't fucking go wrong with Argento. You really fucking can't go wrong. I love Argento. MMCMA subs dubs, dude. Completely agree. It's not a big deal for me to read the subtitles for me personally. Subtitles take away from the integrity of the original actors, in my opinion, dude. Exactly, because like I know Nate watched the subbed version of Don't Torture a Duckling, and he was like, he couldn't get into it. He's like, oh, the acting's so bad. And I was just like, watch the subtitle version. Like the acting's great. Like when he was like, the acting's bad, I was like, the acting's bad. I was like, really? I fucking love the acting in that film. And then when he told me the subbed version, I was like, that's probably why. Yeah, I probably have some fucking douche fucking actor fucking not delivering the line how it's supposed to be delivered. I agree with AJ. It takes me out of the film a little bit. It's not horrible all the time, but in a movie like House by the Cemetery, that the subtitles in that film, you know, I just oh wait a minute, subtitles take away from the original actors. So you don't think? Wait a minute, I'm confused. Do you mean dubbing takes away from the original actors? Because like dubbing over their voices? I thought that's what you meant. That's what I meant. That's what I meant at least. I got confused there. I'm sorry. Trauma is fantastic. I absolutely love Trauma. But going back to what I was saying about the dubbing, like a movie like House by the Cemetery, when you listen to Bob's voice, it's fucking ruined in the dub version. In the subtitle version, it's fine. So I don't know. I'm just definitely one of those people. So I definitely prefer subtitles for sure. So that is my favorite giallo. Then Nate writes in again. Yeah, I thought so, AJ, and that's how I fucking read it in my head too. I know it said subtitles. I thought you meant dubbing. Yeah, I completely agree with you, buddy. What's your favorite horror special effect in any film? This one also comes in from Nate. Wow, horror special effect. Once again, American Werewolf in London jumps out at me. The transformation scene is epic. I also really love Savini's effects in Day of the Dead. I think it's the best special effects movie of all time. Like when I want to watch a movie for good gore, good special effects, and then the over the top acting and all that stuff from Joe Pilato and choke on him and Gary Clark, bang, you're dead. Like I love all that shit. I would say Day of the Dead. That's my favorite special effect when they pull apart poor Joe Pilato and he's screaming choke on him. It's just one of the perfect character demises in any film. I absolutely adore that scene. So that would be my favorite special effect in any movie for sure. Okay, next one comes in from AJ, actually. AJ writes in, favorite Fulci film. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Okay. I'll probably piss people off here because I know most Fulci marks go for The Beyond. I love The Beyond too. And I actually did, just to let you know, AJ, because I know you're a big Fulci guy. I did the Gates of Hell trilogy review. I did an episode talking about all three of those films. That was a really, really fun review, and I really liked that episode. But for me, it comes down to two movies. It comes down to either Don't Torture Duckling or House by the Cemetery. Those are my favorites because, first of all, Don't Torture Duckling is severely underrated in my opinion. It basically tells the story of this town, and there's all these child murders going on in the town, and man, they just get me going. I just love, love, love the fucking like setup for this movie. And there's this scene where this beautiful woman is just laying naked, and this kid brings her juice, and she's like flirting with the kid. First time I saw it, I was younger, so I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking amazing. Like I creamed the proverbial 6-year-old jeans. Like I was like, holy shit, man, this is fucking amazing. Like this is Fulci, man. Fulci always has some good looking fucking women in his films. Of course, Catriona McCall's in all the Gates of Hell movies. I really love City Living Dead, but I would definitely say House by the Cemetery would be my favorite of the trilogy. I just love the old school haunted house feel, the cinematography, the score, the and then it drops down. Amazing stuff. The opening kill is one of my favorite openings in horror movie history, where the girl and her boyfriend fuck in the house, and then the next thing she sees is the boyfriend dead on the door, and she gets stabbed from behind, like through her mouth, and she goes down. The blood trickles, the music builds, and then you get that classic score of The House by the Cemetery. Just amazing stuff. You gotta love Dr. Freudstein. You gotta love the just over the top gory kills, man. It's just excellent, excellent stuff. I adore House by the Cemetery. That will probably be my answer. That's the movie that made me fall in love with Fulci. And man, he's made so many great films, though. I mean, AJ mentioned Zombie. Of course, Zombie is one of the best zombie films of all time. Zombies fighting a shark, the amazing eye puncturing sequence. I mean, you can't really get better than that stuff. I absolutely adore Lucio Fulci films. And really, New York Ripper, almost all his films I really do enjoy. There are a couple I don't like maybe The Black Cat I don't get into as much. The Psychic I didn't mind. I really liked the Cat in the Brain. I love Cat in the Brain. That's a really fun Fulci film. I don't know, man. I fucking love me some Lucio Fulci. I'm a big, big fan. So getting back into, so yeah, House by the Cemetery would definitely be my answer. Trauma is fantastic. Totally agree, man. I love Trauma. Hatchet head to the pull apart scene. Oh, dude, that's crazy when he fucking rips that lady's jawline. That's nuts, man. Friday 13th. Oh, dude, yeah, when Jason gets the machete to the head, falls down, and just kind of goes through the side, man. That's just epic, man. Savini is the greatest of all time. Oh, Dan Giulianotti's here. The Graveyard. Too sweet, good brother. Hope all is well with you, buddy. So getting to the next question, the Master of Fear writes in, who is your favorite supervillain? That is a really cool question, and I actually asked that on his Q&A video. So thank you, Devin, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure if he's watching right now. He was in here before, but I appreciate your support, man. To answer your question, I have a really out of left field answer, and a lot of people are probably going to go, "Huh? Like that's Grande's favorite supervillain?" Honestly, yeah, and it only is recently. As a kid, it was always the Scorpion in Spider-Man. Absolutely loved the Scorpion because I always loved the psychology that Spider-Man needed to almost cheat to beat the Scorpion because scorpions are above spiders in the insect kingdom. And Spider-Man would always have to do like these Viva La Raza, Eddie Guerrero gimmicks to beat the Scorpion. And like, I love that fucking psychology. Here's a superhero that knows he's beat. Here's a superhero that knows that the Scorpion is stronger, but he has to pull other different underhanded tactics to pull off defeating him. Absolutely love that psychology. The Scorpion is fucking great, man. I just love the Scorpion. Big fan. But my favorite would have to be the Penguin. I recently started reading the original origins of the Penguin character, and there was so much there that I didn't know about before. I just absolutely fucking love the Penguin's backstory. Like, basically, he was this child and he was kind of a little bit deformed, and he had this overprotective mother that would send him to school every day with an umbrella so he wouldn't get sunburned. And she owned this bird store and all this stuff. And like, I don't know what it was about reading the origin. It just got me really into the character. And of course, the only on-screen portrayal of the character was Danny DeVito in Batman Returns. And I think he did an excellent job. Like, even though he's an evil villain, at the same time, your heart goes out to him. There's a level of sympathy there. And like, I know a lot of people, they prefer the black and white kind of thing when it comes to superheroes versus supervillains. But I'm one of those people. I love gray area. Another great villain, Doc Ock. Here's a guy that had a dream. Here's a guy that was a scientist that wanted to improve society, and he had everything. He had money. He had a beautiful wife. He had a dream that he was about to live out. And in one freak accident, all of that stuff crumbles down. And is it that moment that should define him? Is it that moment that I should say, "Oh, fuck this guy, he's a supervillain"? No, that's a human. That's a human that suffered, losing his dream, his life, everything in a matter of moments. I just love that psychology, man. Part of my heart goes out to those kind of villains. And that's why I can see the method to their madness. Just the way I always looked at psychology when it comes to superheroes and supervillains. I know I'm alone. I know people just like I'm going to blow up the world, Mr. Bond. Like, I'm cool with that stuff too, but I don't know. There's something about the gray area villains that I've always loved, man. Oh, the horror boys in Naheezy. What's up, good brother? Dude, you're not too late. Not at all. I answered a couple of your questions, though, so you may have to hit the rewind button, good brother. Mine's Vince Russo, the greatest supervillain of all time, definitely in pro wrestling. I think Jim Cornette would agree with you for sure. Oh, yeah. Dan's fucking, yeah, for sure, man. Vinny Roo has cost the fans some good fucking wrestling over the years. We could definitely say that. Who's your favorite supervillain? So thank you, Devin, for writing that in. I really appreciate that. Next one comes in from Horror Hands. What's your favorite? I have not seen this person comment on any of my videos before. I guess he subscribed. So thank you, Horror Hands. I'm sorry. I'll definitely have to check out your channel. What's your favorite artwork for a horror movie? Weirdly enough, I'm sitting right in front of two of them, man. First of all, it definitely have to be that one. Love Sleepaway Camp 3. It's got everything. It's got titties. It's got blood. It's got a really fun tagline that you probably can't see. It says, "She's back to slash last year's record." Just excellent, man. That's everything that you want on a horror poster. You've got the boobs, the blood, and the promise of mayhem. That's what you need on a horror poster. I think, of course, I have the Maniac one right here. I could show this. Excuse the mess if you see any mess. I have Dawn of the Dead and Maniac over here. I'm sorry about the glare for Maniac, but Maniac is just an excellent fucking horror movie poster. Of course, it's Joe Spinell, has the scalped head in his hand, the knife, and then the bulge on his dick. Like, that's fucking dark stuff. But I mean, that makes it a really great evil horror poster. And in fact, I remember seeing people protested that movie when it came out because of that poster. So that's how effective that poster was. I'm just one of those people, I like simple but effective artwork. You're promising me you're going to pack a punch. It's simple, maybe a little color, maybe a little titties. I'm all down for some sex appeal on my posters because women draw in the men, baby. That is how it's done. That is how we create green in the horror business, baby. And a little bit of blood never hurt anybody either. So definitely I would go with Sleepaway Camp 3 and of course Sleepaway Camp 2. Gotta love that artwork of the Freddy glove, Jason's mask, Leatherface chainsaw as the girls packing for camp. I have that one in my room. The Sleepaway Camp 2. It's just absolutely fucking fantastic. Absolutely love that artwork, man. Fuck Vinny Roo. Dude, yo, Vince Russo stinks. Vince Russo is a fucking, oh God. But maybe one day Dan will come on and we could just shit on Vince Russo together. We do a bunch of retro wrestling nights well before this whole fucking pandemic started. Granted, it looks like it's coming to an end, thankfully. So, you know, fingers crossed. But yeah, man, I can't wait to do the retro wrestling night with Dan G, man. We always have a fun time. Maniac poster is awesome. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. I really do enjoy that one. I have the original one sheet Fright Night Part 2 poster. Holy shit, really? How much does that, like, you don't have to tell me what you paid for it, but like, does it go by a lot? Like, does it go for a lot? I wonder. Because, like, I know the film is out of print, and, like, I know that company had all that controversy because those two guys were, like, involved with murder, the people that produced that shit. Like, I don't know the whole story, but I know that movie, there's a ton of controversy surrounding the company, so that's why we've never really gotten an official release. I love the film, but I'd love to know if the poster is, like, really expensive. But that's the one, it's, like, it's just the white face, right, of Regine, I believe. I don't know, maybe Aiden can let me know better. I would love them, dude. I would love that too, man. Absolutely would love it. We will soon because I'm going back to work soon. So, man, I definitely, like, I am so down to do another retro wrestling night. Bro, I promise it's all conspiracy against me. I was forced to comply to Bischoff, bro. It was Bischoff, bro. Dude, I was saying that Vince Russo is now booking the Buccaneers. Like, I truly believe that. Like, Derek Jeter's booking the Marlins, but my man Vinny Roo is totally booking the Bucks. Bro, let me tell you something, bro. We're going to get 45-year-old Tom Brady, bro. We're going to bring him the GOAT, the greatest of all times, because I got to spell it out for you with my fucking sandals on. Yeah. We're going to bring Gronk, bro. We're going to bring Gronk out of retirement, bro. He's lost 100 pounds. It don't matter. He's going to bring in hundreds of thousands of fans and dollars, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. The Bucks are going to the bowl. And then, you know, they're going to not do that. And then he's going to be like, oh, I had nothing to do with this, bro. It was all Bish's fault. He's gonna, somehow Eric Bischoff will be fucking blamed. I know that. $500 fucking dollars? You spent $500 on a fucking Friday? Holy shit. Dude, you're fucking more wealthy than me. I'll tell you that much. Holy shit. I know the Dawn of the Dead one is like 800, and I'll get it someday. Like that's like a reprint, the one I have, the Dawn of the Dead I have. But like the actual one with the ratings box, that's like 800 on eBay. Eventually, man. I will fucking get there. Like I have to, it's my favorite movie. I have to have the fucking one sheet of it. Like for nothing else, right? Okay, so next question. Ryan Schneider writes in top 3 90s slashers. Ooh, that is a fucking good question. I guess the short answer would be the first Scream. Definitely. I love the first Scream. I love Child's Play 2. That's one I always fucking watch. I absolutely adore Child's Play 2. Man, that's tough. Favorite 90s slashers. See, the thing is, like, after 96, they're all the neo slashers. Like, you have Urban Legend, you have I Know What You Did Last Summer. You have like those slashers. So that's almost its own category. And then like the first few years, you have ones that I'm not that big of a fan of. Like I never really like Freddy's Dead. Jason Goes to Hell, I don't like. Halloween 6, I enjoy. I like Halloween 6. So I would definitely be up there. I'm trying to think. Is it Dr. Giggles? I have fun with Dr. Giggles. I enjoy that movie. Favorite 90s slashers. Definitely Child's Play 2 would have to be in the top 3. Scream would have to be in the top 3. And I don't know. I don't know about the third one. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. Definitely, not many come to mind. Like Urban Legend, I'm on the film. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Kind of like middle of the road for me. A lot of those neo slashers I'm kind of mixed on. I enjoy like Cherry Falls. I enjoy that one. That's one where the killer targets only virgins. I love Cherry Falls, man. If you pop your cherry, you're safe, baby. Let me tell you something. You better go have sex right now because if you don't, baby, the killer gonna come get you. I enjoy that fucking movie a lot. But yeah, I definitely, it's tough. It's tough for me to come up with that many good 90s slashers. I guess for right now, I could say Urban Legend. I don't mind the first Urban Legend. I'll throw that in there at number 3. And you got it for 85 on Amazon. Wow, that's incredible, man. 90s was sketchy at best. Yeah, I agree. The 90s is not, it's just such a weaker decade for coming off the 70s and 80s. Even the 60s I like probably better than the 90s. 90s started off okay, but definitely needed Viagra in the end. Yeah, it's funny, and people would probably say after Scream was the Viagra that horror got in the late 90s. Like it was definitely like if wrestling had ECW and music had Nirvana, Scream was that equivalent in the horror genre. Like it just totally spiked up interest, it spiked up box office numbers, and all these movies tried to rip it off. So I'm just not the biggest neo slasher guy. Like I very rarely go back and rewatch neo slashers. I love the marketing concepts of putting all these like young up and coming people on the cover of the poster and stuff like that. Like I always enjoy that. But the movies, like I like The Faculty a lot. I don't know if that would be considered. It's definitely a Scream feel, but it's not a slasher film. Like that's one of my favorite 90s horror films. Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite 90s horror films. Seven is one of my favorite 90s horror films. Like slashers, it's definitely kind of rocky for me, but Scream, Child's Play 2 would definitely be up there. I got lucky when I bought that poster on Amazon. Damn right you did. Fucking $85, man. Cherry Falls is my shit. Just got the Shout Factory in a month. Dude, I fucking love Shout Factory, man. Like, and Cherry Falls is just absolutely fucking epic. I love Cherry Falls, man. I thought Fright Night 2011 was terrible. Dude, Fright Night 2011 was fucking terrible. I agree. 90s is one of my least favorite times. I'd say it's my least favorite time, even the bigger films like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Mimic, I'm not the biggest fan of. Yeah, it's weird. Like, even like when I think about it deeply, like Don and I did a 2-hour show talking about 90s horror, and like we mostly put a lot of movies over. Oh, you know what? I would put in the top 3 slashers too. Popcorn would be a top 90s slasher for me. I absolutely love Popcorn. That's one that I always fucking forget about it. Like I have to think about it, and then Popcorn comes up. For some reason, it's not one that comes to the forefront in the beginning. But I absolutely love that movie too. And yeah, I don't know, man. 90s kind of on me, man. I'm not big. I like the early 2000s a lot better, like American Psycho, Ginger Snaps. Like even the year 2000 was better than most of the years in the 90s. I like Blair Witch. I adore. Of course, I love Blair Witch, but again, that's not a slasher film. But I do love that movie. Faculty so much, dude. I fucking adore The Faculty. The Faculty of all those movies, like that rip off the Scream characters and stuff. That's my favorite Scream ripoff. Like easily my favorite Scream ripoff. And if I know you're a big fan of Cabin in the Woods, Cabin in the Woods actually has a subtle mention to it. They say the glitch in '98 they're referring to The Faculty. And I always thought that was so fucking cool that The Faculty in that universe, in the Cabin in the Woods universe, was a setup horror film. Like it was a setup situation that they failed on. Oh, I thought that was absolutely fucking epic. Yes, Faculty is amazing. I absolutely love The Faculty, man. Long live Robert Rodriguez. And please, would somebody release a fucking special edition of that? I want to see Jordana Brewster talking all about that and her voluptuous self, baby. I love me some Jordana Brewster. Fucking huge Jordana Brewster guy. So thank you for the question, though. I really do appreciate it. Okay, next question comes in from Mark, my good buddy Mark. This is actually this could take a while to answer this one. If you were given the chance to rewrite the Universal Dark Universe into a successful franchise, how would you do it? Okay, I will say off the bat that I'd never do it. If somebody came to me and said, "You want to do this?" I'd say no. I would honestly say no. So this is completely shooting from the hip here, good brothers. Don't hold this against me and be like, "You dumb fuck." I don't. This is completely. I wouldn't try to tackle this unless they offered me so much. Unless they offered me Vince Russo money, I am not doing this, man, because this is not going to catch on. This is kind of my point. The whole thing with Marvel and the universe and all these movies and then coming together and the Infinity War and Endgame and all that stuff, that fan base wanted that. They jack off to it. They cream their jeans every time Captain America fucking alley-oops the fucking shield. They fucking, when Thor comes down and starts laying the hammer, they can't get enough of it. Those people love it. And they are fucking fully open about how gaga they go for it. And that's all well and good. I'm fine. I like superheroes too. Not to that level, but I respect the people that like it. It's fine. My thing is, if you're going to try to do the universal dark universe concept, you're trying to, in my opinion, market horror films the same way as you're marketing the Marvel films. When our fan base, and I will speak for, I think most of us, I'm not trying to speak, put words in anybody else's mouth here. This is just how I kind of feel and how I kind of see it, in my opinion. So don't take this too heavily, grain of salt here. I think that we don't want that shit. Like, I don't want to see Scream crossover with Friday 13th, crossover with Nightmare on Elm Street, crossover with Halloween, crossover with Hellraiser. I don't want to see any of that. Like we got our one crossover, Freddy versus Jason. That was fun. It was cool for what it was. I think it could have been better, but like, I don't need all of these Chucky and Leprechaun and fucking the girl from the Ring and all. I don't want all that shit put together, man. There's an old mentality where I love me some shrimp. I love me some pizza. I love me some steak. I love me some fucking corn chips. But if I put all four of those things together in a gumbo, it's going to taste like fucking shit. All four of those things individually work. They're delicious. They're good. I enjoy them. But when you smash them together, not going to work. So I think that whole idea of the universe, it just doesn't work for me, man. I just don't like the concept of it. So I would never tackle it for that reason. But because you asked so nicely, I will say if I had to, if I was given all the money in the world and I had to kind of give my 2 cents, I would start off with Dracula, but I wouldn't do what they did. They basically did Dracula Untold and The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Horrible fucking idea to do those two movies. First of all, the Untold shit, completely irrelevant. If you're going to do this, I think you should do it and capitalize on the times you're in. You're in current day. None of this years and years and years ago. People are not going to go see years and years and years ago. Period pieces, they don't draw millions and millions of dollars. They don't. They really don't. There's a specific fan base that likes that stuff, and there's specific people that go, I don't want to see that shit. That's the truth. It's honest to God truth. It would be modern day take on a vampire story, Dracula, and I would get somebody that knew what they were doing to direct. I would get a Mike Flanagan, somebody like that, to make a solid, creepy, atmospheric Dracula film. And we're going to have some tits, we're going to have some gore, we're going to have all that good stuff. Because at the end of the day, Dracula is the sexuality of horror. That's what it's tackling. So I want some good looking women. I want a good looking fucking guy as to play Dracula. Who's going to play Dracula? I don't know. Like, I haven't really thought that far into it. I'm sure you get fucking anybody that, any prep. You know who I think would be fucking great as the Wolfman, though? I think Hemsworth would be great as the Wolfman. I'd cast Hemsworth as the Wolfman. And as for Frankenstein, I know they were thinking Javier Bardem. I would love to see Javier Bardem. I would do a Frankenstein story where almost maybe the doctor turns himself into a monster, almost like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. That would be a really cool way to tackle it, go about it. So I would go creepy Dracula film. I'd go Mike Flanagan as the director, boobs, blood, and mayhem, all that good stuff. And I'd see how that does. If that goes over, then I'm going Javier Bardem as Frankenstein, and then I'm going Hemsworth as the Wolfman. And you could do plenty more directors. Like, there are plenty good horror directors out there. I would love to see Robert Eggers do the Wolfman. I think that would be so fucking cool because that guy really gets it. And I think that guy's a fantastic filmmaker. And I think he's the future of the genre. Nate and I were saying that. We think he's the future of the genre. And I would love to see his take as the Wolf, directing the Wolfman. I think that'd be really cool. So I'd do those big three. And honestly, I wouldn't cross over. I just do all individual films as a part of a universe. They could take place in the same universe. There could be Easter eggs in the old universe, but I don't know, man. I just don't think they would draw like the Marvel films do. That's just my personal opinion. So definitely a tough rebook, but it can be done and you can have fun with it for sure. Okay. I don't know if this counts, but they remade the Wolfman and it sucked. No, actually, that one did suck. I agree. That one doesn't count though. I think what he's referring to is like in like 2014, a movie called Dracula Untold came out, and the point of it was to be like in a lot of ways like the Captain America movie, like the first Avenger, and then make an Avengers style out of it. And then obviously it failed. It bombed at the box office, and that is what it is. DiCaprio is Dracula. Would be perfect as Dracula. I mean, why the fuck not? I think that would be really cool. Kurt Russell is Dracula, older Dracula, but bro, Kurt Russell's like my favorite ever. So I love me some Kurt Russell. I'll stick to the old Universal Monster movies. That's a good move. And trust me, we're never gonna get the Universal Dark Universe. It's never gonna happen. That will never ever happen because those two movies, The Mummy flopped, Dracula Untold flopped, all those movies flopped. So you're never gonna get those movies for sure. That universe will never happen. But if I was to tackle it, Mark, that is definitely where I'd start. I'd go Flanagan, Boobs, Blood, and Mayhem, and then Frankenstein, Wolfman with some good actors. So that's definitely how I would attack it. Our good buddy Bistro writes in, if you could select top 3 subgenres of horror, as in supernatural, slasher, Japanese, gothic, psychological, science fiction, found footage, zombie, that you like best, what would they be? So my top 3 subgenres of the horror genre. Whew, that's really tough. I will say exploitation horror is my favorite, like films like Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, They Call Her One Eye, I Spit on Your Grave. A lot of the video nasties, definitely like any exploitation. I'm a big exploitation horror film fan. I fucking love exploitation. I'm a big mark for it. I just love the raw, gritty tone and the usually really mean spirited characters and mean spirited situations. I'm a big exploitation guy. Hobo with a Shotgun is another one. There's so many good exploitation horror films out there that I really truly enjoy. So I will say that's probably my favorite. Slashers, of course, would have to be in there. I'm a huge fucking slasher mark. Of course, if you can't tell, Big Sleepaway Camp, April Fool's Day, Friday the 13th, the Halloween films, Nightmare on Elm Street films, Child's Play films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. The slasher movies are just so fucking over for me and for definitely for the entire community. I think if you ask the entire community what their favorite would be, I think slashers would be the number one answer. I'll put them in the number 2 slot. I definitely go exploitation more than slasher, but I love me some slashers, man. You gotta love The Burning, Intruder, Madman, The Prowler. I mean, so many great fucking slasher movies out there. You can't really go wrong. And then as number 3, I could go paranormal. I do like a lot of like ghost films. I'm a big ghost film guy. I do like psychological horror. I do zombie films. I'm a big zombie film guy. I'm a big fan of movies that discuss the horror within ourselves, like Cannibal Holocaust and Last House on the Left to a certain extent. When Krug realizes like what his acts have kind of led to and how he's disgusted in himself. I really like that stuff. I definitely really like the horrors within ourselves and the horror that makes us look in the mirror. So human horror, I would say that would be my number 3. I really am a big fan of human horror when we have to look in the mirror and face the darkness inside ourselves. I absolutely adore that stuff, man. I'm a really, really big fan. Oh, I think my mechanic's calling. Here, this is a worldwide exclusive. Hello? Hey, how you doing, buddy? You don't have good news for me. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay. Uh-huh. So it's not fixable? Oh shit. Do you think it's worth it? All right, you know what? Let me. My dad's gonna be here soon, so I can just talk to him about it, and I'll see if he thinks it's worth it. Is that okay if I give you a call back? All right, absolutely. All right, thank you so much. All right, bye bye. Sorry, that was my car. My car is in the shop right now, and my fucking air conditioner is not working. So apparently, I closed the door too hard and broke my air conditioning. That's fucking what he just told me. I swear to God. So now he has to rip apart my dashboard, which is going to cost me like $400 fucking dollars. And I don't want to pay that shit. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to Papa Grande about it and see what he thinks. I got to get his input. Oh, Cole Putty from Seinfeld. Yo, I am the proverbial George Costanza in this fucking situation. I'm proverbial George Costanza anyway. The Lodge filmmakers should do an R-rated Universal monster movie. Would love to see it. Would love to see them tackle Frankenstein or something like that. That would be really cool. Love grindhouse movies. Me too. Hobo the Shotgun is fantastic. I have the blue. The blue looks excellent. Intruders. Oh, dude, I love Intruder. One of my favorite slasher films. So yeah, those would be my top three. I definitely love those three. And I apologize for taking that's the first ever phone call from a mechanic I've taken on the graveyard. But that was very vital because I'm going back to work this week. So I need my fucking car. Of course, I'm not gonna have no air conditioning. It's fucking 90-degree heat, but it is what it is. Okay, so where was I? Okay, last set of questions, and then we'll call it a day here, ladies and gents. Gideon, though, he does have a 10-parter. So, and these are pretty fucking awesome. So, what do you think is the most important thing in a horror soundtrack? Question number one. And also, Gideon, I want to say, Gideon, thank you so much for supporting my channel over the years, man. Much respect to you, man. Gideon's always been one of my closest friends. Really, really good people, man. Good Dahmer. Absolutely love the guy. Most important thing in a horror soundtrack, I think, is just to capture, I guess, a mood. Like with Return of the Living Dead, the reason I love it is because it's so 80s, because it's so punk rock, because it is so of the era that it's made, and it's just fun in that way. I just absolutely adore that soundtrack. I think the best soundtracks fit its movies. That's just like my kind of thing. I should do call-ins. Dude, I did call-ins back in college when I was doing this, and it worked really good. I don't know how I'd set it up. I guess I could set it up through maybe somehow through Skype. I'm not sure. I don't know. If anybody knows the technical aspects of that, I will take your calls. I'd love to take your calls and discuss horror, man. I would love it. Absolutely, man. I could be like the nicer Mike Francesa. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I love, of course, Sleepaway Camp 3 soundtracks. Excellent. Like, that's because that's just boobs, blood, and mayhem and a campy slasher. Has some excellent metal. And fucking, I'm just a big metal guy. And I know AJ is too. AJ loves some metal, man. Of course, Hellraiser 3, the Motorhead song, Hellraiser. Just fucking love that stuff. So I think it's the best horror soundtracks fit their films the best. That's just my personal opinion. Surfing Dead. Yo, yeah. Number 2, what do you feel is the essential horror series? I will definitely go with Friday the 13th. And I will say why. I think Friday the 13th is the most classic horror series because it's the one that stuck with the formula the longest. You have a bunch of horny teens, a bunch of stereotypical characters doing drugs, doing each other, getting picked off one by one at a camp setting. That's all those movies ever had to be, and that's why there's 8 of them. And like, I don't mind changing the setting. Like, I love Jason Takes Manhattan in the City. I know people hate it, but I love Jason Takes Manhattan in the City. I think it's a fun movie. I think that I've read a Jason script that somebody did where it was Jason in the winter killing people at Camp Crystal Lake. That would be very much welcomed. I think what people try to do with that series now and with all the other series is, there one or two things. Oh, we're going to go back to the original. We're going to go back to the original. No, just stick to the fucking formula. That's all you have to do. You don't have to homage the original every fucking 5 minutes. I think that setting works because of how simple it is. You can't fuck that up. Is Rob Hedden a great director? No, he couldn't fuck that up. Is John Carl Beaker? John Carl Beaker was a great special effects guy. Not going to say, anything else other than that. But was he a great director? Is Troll, the first Troll, really that great movie? No. But anybody can make a fucking good slasher film because the formula is so simple, but it's so damn effective, man. I'm just one of those people. I just love the first 8. I love that formula. I love Jason picking off kids one by one. And I'm just a mark for that. I think it is the essential one. It's the one I watch the most. Easily the horror series I go back to the most. Because I'll be honest, Elm Street and Halloween would probably be other people's choices. Halloween after part 4, not really. I mean, I love Halloween 4, but Halloween 5, I do go back and rewatch, but it's not a great movie. Halloween 6, same thing. I go back and watch, but it's not a great movie. H2O Resurrection, hardly watch it. Rob Zombie's remake, I've seen enough. I've definitely seen that remake enough. I don't mind that remake as much as most people. The sequel, never go back and rewatch it. And the 2018 film, I've yet to rewatch it. I have no desire to revisit that movie. Because I honestly think I will hate it even more if I rewatch that movie. So not really. And then with Elm Street, same thing after part 4. I hate part 5. I don't like part 6. New Nightmare is solid, and I hate the remake. So after part 4, I'm kind of Friday the 13th, I've got double that. I've got 8 movies that I fucking love and can put on at any time and enjoy with a group of friends or crowd. Drink some dooskies, with the broskies. That's some good stuff, man. The Essential Horror series is the Friday the 13th series, in my humble opinion. So that would be that. Sleepaway song is good. Yo, I love the Sleepaway Camp song. Yo, hell yeah, brother. Love Part 8 as well. That's awesome. Yeah, I love the Paramount 8 is my favorite too. Ooh, do love some Season of the Witch as well. Do you enjoy any of the old creature feature films? That's a good question. By the old, I don't know how old you want to go. I did watch one the other day that I absolutely adored called Shakma. And it was from 1990, I believe. So that's 30 years. I don't know if that's too old for you. And it's basically Amanda Weiss is in the film, who was also the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She's awesome, just a beautiful actress. And it's these bunch of kids. They're playing this like Dungeons and Dragons game in this building. And basically, this wild baboon gets free and like murders all of them. And like a lot of the stuff was done practically. One of the best creature features I've seen in a long time, man. I'm a big fan of that one. There's definitely some Jeepers Creepers I adore. Creature from the Black Lagoon, I adore. I love that movie. I don't know if you consider werewolves creature features. Like, I guess they're just werewolf films at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know what the exact criteria would be. But man, I do love some creature horror films for sure. I definitely get into some of them. Shakma is to date one of my favorites. I loved that movie. Do you feel horror today can hit the same success of the past? Wow, that's a good question, man. I man, honestly, I think, and he asked a question about this after this, you know, and so I guess I can kind of intertwine. I think the problem with horror today. Oh, and AJ says creature features is 50s or 60s. Definitely, yeah, definitely. We can go that era as well. Like them movies like that. I enjoy it. The Godzilla movies. I enjoy that. Godzilla. I love the one where it's Godzilla's son running around. It's just like a fucking guy in a suit. Like that's a fucking funny one. I definitely enjoy that stuff. But man, I think the problem is okay. We can look at the horror movies that have set the world on fire in the past 5 years, right? So I have one of them here. This is definitely one I wanted to discuss. I thought somebody asked what was my favorite modern horror film. Somebody might have, but I don't know if I missed it or what. I loved this movie. I think this is the best horror movie of the last 10 years, personally. I love this movie. I think it follows everything horror should be. It's a callback to what John Carpenter's movies did. It has the great score, it has the great story, the great look, the great atmosphere. Anything and everything I love to love in horror films is in this movie. However, it seems like it got a very poor reception from quite a bit of people. For every person that loved it, it seems like there's a person that fucking hated it. And that's all well and good. But think about the movies from latter year that set the world on fire. Is there anybody that really didn't like the original Nightmare on Elm Street? Is there anyone who really didn't like the original Halloween? Is there anyone who really don't like these movies? And the answer is no. People unanimously can come together and agree. But what I see with the horror society now is we all disagree. We can't all come together and just say this is a masterpiece. It can't happen. And I'm on both sides of that fence. There's definitely movies that I fucking hate that people love. Hereditary is one of them. Why can't we all fucking embrace Hereditary? I think it's garbage. I thought it was a garbage movie personally. Midsummer, same thing. I'll embrace The Lighthouse. I'll embrace The Witch. I'll embrace some of these other horror movies that people love or hate. I think you just have too many polarizing opinions. I think that's what it boils down to. I think, can it be popular? Can it make money? Sure. But we're never going to all agree on something again. I just don't think we live in a time where the internet is very prominent. So everybody throws in their 2 cents. And I think that's what really hurts and makes or breaks horror movies. It's if it gets a negative outlash, you hear about it. If it gets the positive outlash, you hear about it. It's only when the community doesn't talk about it at all on the internet when your film is really gonna kind of hit the gravel, which is unfortunate, but it happens with a movie like Aiden was mentioned before, The Lodge. That happened. No one really saw or even heard of The fucking Lodge, really. That's a shame. I love that movie. It was my favorite movie of the year. Nobody fucking seen it other than Aiden. And I know Ryan saw it and he didn't like it. And Don saw it and didn't like it either. So I guess it is what it is. I think it hurts it. I do think the internet and I do think the community really have a hard time just coming together and agreeing on stuff nowadays. Just too many polarizing opinions and not enough agreement on what we want. Because I think people at the end of the day, in all shapes of media, I don't think they know what the fuck they want. I know what I want, but does everybody? Kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of that. So honestly, I think it always has the ability to make money, to answer your question, but I don't think it'll ever be as popular again as it was back in the day. So so who is your favorite actor and or actress? So I'll give you both. My favorite actor would have to be Kurt Russell or Robin Williams. Those are my two favorite actors of all time. Also a big fan of Tom Hanks. Really like Tom Hanks. Those are like my top three actors for sure. And then I would come in with favorite actress. That's tough, man. I'm a big like Betty Davis person, big Amy Steele guy. Of course, Pamela Springsteen has to always be thrown in the conversation because I fucking love me some Bab Springsteen. Those are definitely like my three actors that I just absolutely adore. And there's plenty of great horror genre actresses that I really like. So I'm a big Kurt Russell, Robin Williams. Definitely, I watched their films to death, like World's Greatest Dad. I adore. I love the movie they did together, the best. I think it was called The Best of Times, and it was like they were in high school together, and Robin Williams dropped the game-winning pass, and it's plagued him his whole life, and they want to replay the game, and that was a fun movie. I think it was directed by the guy that did Terror Train, which was weird enough, but I adore Kurt Russell and all the Carpenter films, Snake Plissken, and then of course going on to be Stuntman Mike and Tarantino's Death Proof. Huge Kurt Russell fan. And of course, Robin Williams, Jumanji, Robin Williams in Aladdin, one of the greatest voice performances of all time. Robin Williams in fucking anything. 1 Hour Photo. That was really the only horror movie that Robin Williams ever did, but he was fantastically creepy in it. And he's just one of those people who can always make you feel stuff, Mork and Mindy even. I love Mork and Mindy. So yeah, Robin Williams, Kurt Russell, and Tom Hanks would be my top three favorite actors. And then actresses, I'll go Betty Davis and Pamela Springsteen are like my faves, definitely. I really like Ali Larter. I feel like nobody ever mentions Ali Larter either. I really like her. Jamie Lee, always love Jamie Lee. Love Sigourney Weaver. I mean, yeah, there are plenty of actresses I love too. What is your favorite film that isn't horror? For me, the movie I love that's not considered horror, but it does have elements, is A Clockwork Orange. Like the ultra violent scenes are definitely horror elements, but I absolutely fucking adore A Clockwork Orange. I think it's my favorite film that's not a horror film, but I can understand how that one would be like, oh well, that has some stuff in it. So I will say my favorite movie that's not a horror film, has no horror film elements in it at all, is Big with Tom Hanks. I think that movie is absolutely phenomenal. Penny Marshall does a great job directing. She's just wonderful, underrated director. I think Hanks's performance is one of the best performances in the history of movies. I think he's absolutely excellent. I think he was robbed at the Oscars. I think it's his greatest performance. And that's saying a lot because he's won an Oscar for Philadelphia. He's won an Oscar for Forrest Gump. I think he was nominated for A League of Their Own. He's one of the best fucking, absolute best actors of all time. So Big would be my favorite non-horror film for sure. Lodge is my favorite movie of the year too. Loved Lodge. Insomnia. Oh, dude, that's a really good one. Oh, how you doing, Ben Grimm? Hope all is well. Oh my god, I always forget that one. Pacino is also in that. That's a really good one. I really do like Insomnia. James Woods, boy, someone to care for, do or die for. You have James Woods. Oh, also, favorite actress, I'd throw in Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly's definitely up there. I fucking adore Jennifer Connelly. Yeah, Robin Williams is great in that movie. Say, Pedro, when I was kicking your ass back there, did you get a little wood? Oh, you droog. Alex and my three droogs. Dude, you never hear Singing in the Rain again with the innocence that you did before you see that movie after you see Clockwork Orange. Absolutely adore Clockwork Orange. That's one of my favorite. I'm a big Kubrick guy. Also, another one that's not horror that I love, Lolita. The original 1962 Lolita, I think is one of the best Kubrick films. I put it like way up there. I adore the original Lolita. I think that's a great movie. Some other movies, I mean, there's plenty. There's tons of comedies I really enjoy. like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, I adore. I love Good Burger. I'm a big fan of Good Burger. If there's burgers and broskies in it, I love it, right? Any of the fucking John Hughes films, Breakfast Club, Uncle Buck, I even like 16 Candles, Weird Science, fucking I feel like I'm missing one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and The First Vacation I love. Nothing But Trouble, which is really underrated Chevy Chase one that Dan Aykroyd actually directed. I really like that movie. There's tons of like really good comedies I really enjoy as well. Definitely like that era of comedy I really like a lot. The Money Pit, another Tom Hanks one I really enjoy. Definitely like that era of comedy for sure is what I go kind of gaga over. So those are some of my favorite films. I really do enjoy all those movies. Um, what is your favorite song? Ooh, favorite song. That's really tough. That's really tough, man. I'm a big like psychedelic rock guy. I love the Doors. Like I'm a big fan of the Doors. And I'm also a really, really big fan of, you know, the Beatles. I'm a big Beatles guy. I love Yesterday by the Beatles. That's definitely one of my favorite songs. For the Doors, my favorite song, that's tough, man. I love Maggie McGill. I love 5 to 1. I love Waiting for the Sun. I love The Spy. I love Blue Sunday. There's so many fucking great Doors songs. I don't know though. I don't know if I had the definitive favorite. You know what? I'll hit you with, and this one relate back to movies. My favorite song of all time, I'm gonna go with Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka, the Gene Wilder song. I love that song because every time I hear it, I'm put in a better mood. I smile and I think of the good times in my life. And like I don't know. There's not that many songs for me that I can hear and just automatically I feel that. And I will go with that one. I'll go with a little bit outside the box. Pure Imagination, sung by the old Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka in his famous Chocolate Factory. Gotta love that one, man. Absolutely love it. Uncle Buck, Ferris Bueller, dude. Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't think I said Ferris Bueller. I fucking love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's fucking classic. What are my thoughts on the Harold Kumar sequels? Not as good as the first. Definitely not as good as the first. Like Guantanamo Bay is the first film really dialed up to 11 and I like it, but like it's definitely like over the top. And then even the Christmas one I enjoy the sequels. I just don't I like the original one I've seen 1,000 times. The sequels I've seen a couple times. Like it's just one of those kind of thing. Like the first Harold and Kumar will always be my favorite Harold and Kumar, especially because I love White Castle so much. Cheers, got my liquor. Stores are finally open. Oh man, cheers, man. I bet you got some really good stuff. Rainbow Connection. You know, AJ, that is funny. I have the Muppet movie on VHS to this day, and that's the opening song. It's just so beautiful. I know Gideon did a cover of it. He sang it, and it was beautiful, man. He did a really, really nice job covering that song. I love the Rainbow Connection, man. Just again, it's another really feel good song. I like feel good songs. I'm just really into that stuff. I mean, I'm into all sorts of music. Like again, like I know AJ again is a big metal guy. I love some metal too, man. I'm a big Metallica guy. But like Metallica, I love Sanitarium. That's probably my favorite Metallica song. Fucking adore that, man. They always played that in that documentary, the child murders at Robin Hood Hills, Paradise Lost. That one of the best fucking songs. Sanitarium, dun, dun, leave me be. I'm a huge Metallica guy. Really, really enjoy that. Of course, One by Metallica. That one always fucking gets me in the feels. Zombie by the Cranberries. Always love that song. I think that's just a beautiful song. May Dolores O'Riordan rest in peace. I think she had the most beautiful singing voice in the history of the whole world. Absolutely love Dolores, and I'm sad every day that she's gone, man. Dolores O'Riordan was one of the best artists I think ever. I absolutely adore Dolores O'Riordan, so may she rest in peace. Never at White Castle. Aiden, drive to a White Castle right now and get a sack of 10 cheeseburgers, sack of fries, some side of cheese, a cherry Coke, and zero fucking regrets, good brother. That's all I got to say. Okay. I did skip one. He said, "Do you think the internet has made horror stronger and weaker?" I do think it's made it weaker, if anything. Like I know it's opened. It's a double-edged sword, like the internet always is. Has it opened the door to some movies I've never heard of? Sure, but at the same time, we can't really seem to all agree on the same movies anymore because of the internet. I think too many people have a fucking opinion, and like I'm not saying that not everyone's entitled. Everyone is entitled. That's the beauty of it. But it's hard. I feel like unanimously we don't love or hate anything anymore. We just pretty much are always polarized. That's personally kind of how I think of that. What's my favorite band? I just named a lot of them. I'll say The Doors. The Doors is my favorite band. Definitely the band I listen to the most. So I would say The Doors. And the last question, I didn't even, oh my God, this is actually going to be pretty fucking funny since we mentioned White Castle. Last question on this whole list. Would you sell your soul for White Castle? Hell yeah. Of course I would, man. Of course I would. You gotta love the Castle of White. You know, I'm a big White Castle guy. Absolutely love some White Castle. Also, on the favorite songs and artists or bands or whatever, Elvis. I'm a big Elvis guy. Big fan of Elvis. Absolutely adore Elvis. So big fan of the King of Rock and Roll, man. I love Loving My Baby. Little Less Conversation, Blue Christmas. Dude, that's like one of those songs like, another song I love, Careless Whisper. I'll never forget. I was driving home after doing a graveyard episode. This is a fun little anecdote because I'm wrapping up here. I was driving home after doing the Evil Dead show with Tom. We did the Evil Dead retrospective. It was a blizzard. I was in the car for like 3 hours when it should have only taken me, a half hour, if that. It was just crazy, crazy weather. And that song came on the air, the Careless Whisper. I rocked the fuck out of that song, man. I was singing it. I was like, I fucking adore that song, man. I'm a mark for Careless Whisper. Anytime that comes on, like I lose all my manliness. Like I just become a full on fucking mark for 4.5 minutes of George Michael's beauty. Like absolutely fucking love that song, man. Huge fan of Careless Whisper. So, okay, a couple people. Metallica, Turn the Page. I like that song. Oh, dude, of course. From Whom the Bell Tolls, another good one. Crystals are a better version of White Castle depending where you're at. I've had crystals, really like crystals. I don't know if I'd say it's better. Maybe it is. Definitely, it's probably better quality. I would just say that for sure. I've only had it 2 or 3 times in my life. So again, it's hard for me to, because I've had White Castle like a million times in my life. So it's just the numbers game for me, I guess. But, one thing I haven't had, I don't know if any of you live on the West Coast. I've never had In-N-Out Burger. And I've heard that's fucking amazing. But I've never had that. And I've never been to Cali. So I'll never, I guess. Oh, dude, Synth Music is wonderful. Absolutely. I'm about to purchase a White Castle franchise just so I can have one near me. Bro, you had to sell your soul like me, bro. We're fucking buying White Castles left and right, man. I love me some White Castle. Careless Whisper, dude, Careless Whisper is the best. Time can never mend the careless whisper of a good friend. Dude, gotta love Careless Whisper. I'm sorry. I know, like I said, you lose all the fucking manliness, but man, it just puts me in the greatest of moods, man. That's what I like music for personally. New metal, hair, and grunge. Oh, yo, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Alrighty, though. I'm out of questions. Unless you guys have any more questions for me in the chat, Oh, Whataburger. That I've never had. What area is that in? Like around? Isn't that like middle, like Midwest, maybe? Am I completely wrong? Is that South, maybe? I don't know. I don't know about Whataburger personally. I'm not sure. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Unless any of you all have any more questions, if not, no worries. I had a blast doing this. Yeah, this took over about an hour, 22 minutes. I originally was going to do like a top 10 favorite horror scenes, but I feel like I'll just save that for another show because we have plenty of content in here. Next week, I'm going to be back with The Predator. Oh yeah, yes, the Predator franchise. I'm going to be talking all 4 Predator main films. We might throw in AVP and AVP Requiem. I don't know. I'm not positive we'll throw those in there. But my good buddy Ryan Larkin is going to be joining me. Going to be a lot of fun. That's Connor's brother back from the Scariest Movie Scenes episode. That's his brother. He's going to be joining me for the Predator episode. When, I'm not positive. I'm not really sure. But we're definitely going to do that sometime next week. So I'm really excited to do that. Okay, Ben Grimm answered me. The Thing himself, Texas area. Oh, man, that's really cool. That's really cool. I've never been to Texas either, so I definitely have to get my ass down to Texas and try Whataburger because I've heard nothing but good. In-N-Out Burger is delicious. Okay, so we do have a West Coast guy. I've never had it, man, but I've heard nothing but fucking really good stuff. Great video, John. So happy. Dude, thank you. Well, I haven't reached 100 episodes yet. I mean, this is 50, but I will definitely get to 100 for sure, man. Cheers to the next 50 till we get to 100, right? Thank you, Nate. I appreciate all your support for my channel. All of you, too. I really, it means the world to me. I know I'm not big. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers. I know I'll never make money at this, but to me, it's the perfect way to express my passions, and it's the perfect way to kind of get to know people and kind of just get a feeler out there, get my opinion out there and discuss and put some movies over. Like that's why I love doing this show. What are my thoughts on Bruiser? honestly, don't hate Bruiser. I know a lot of people fucking make fun of me for that, but like I like Bruiser. I don't Romero film. Okay, I could just sum this up. Romero films I don't like. I don't like Season of the Witch. I don't like it. I think it has a decent style, but there's nothing else there. And a lot of people hate me for saying that, but it's the truth. There's always Vanilla. Survival of the Dead, I don't like. And honestly, Land of the Dead. I don't like Land of the Dead at all. Land of the Dead's towards the bottom. I don't like Land of the Dead at all. Every other fucking movie he's done, I like. I love Martin. I love Dawn of the Dead. I love Day of the Dead. The Dark Half, Two Evil Eyes, Creep Show, Night of the Living Dead. You really can't go wrong. The Crazies, I think, is super underrated, especially what's going on now. Obviously, the pandemic, like that's a perfect movie to watch around now. So I enjoy that. Bruiser, I don't mind though. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent time waster. Like 6 out of 10 for me, for sure. In-N-Out burgers in Texas too. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. See, you guys got way better burgers by us. Damn it. No worries. There's a reason why it's called In-N-Out Burger. Oh shit. Oh shit. Literally. Oh shit. Diary of the Dead. What do I think of Diary of the Dead? I really like Diary of the Dead. Diary of the Dead's my favorite of that new trilogy, and it seems to be everybody's least favorite, which blows my fucking mind. But I thought it was brilliant. He went back to the basics. He went back to what made the original night, like the first night of the breakout, which I really liked because I felt there was really nothing left he had to say after Day. And then I feel like he forced that message in Land and it didn't work, the whole rich versus poor. But Diary, I think he went back to the basics. And I think that's why Diary really works for me. It's just an old school style zombie film. I think people hate the shot on video aspect. And that's fine. If you don't like shot on video, you're definitely not going to like the film. But I will say, I will put that one far above Land of the Dead and Survival of the Dead. I think had you change a couple of actors, there's just some bad acting in that film. That's it. And some of the CGI is kind of Don't really like some of the CGI in the film. But I think as a whole, it's the closest he ever came after the original three to making a great zombie film. I think the film George Romero really wanted to make, I think at that time, was a movie like Fido. I don't know if anybody remembers Fido, but Fido was like zombies were your house pets and stuff like that. Like it was very humorous. Like I think Romero would have tackled it more seriously, and that's what I would have done. I think it would have been better had Fido been done seriously. So I think that's the movie George Romero really wanted to make in that trilogy, and he really never made it. So I think that's why a lot of people are let down by that trilogy. But of the three, Diary of the Dead, easily my fucking favorite. Easily, not even fucking close. I like the soundtrack. I like everything in Diary of the Dead. I'm kind of a fan of Diary of the Dead. Diary of the Dead is really good. I'm not the only one. What do I think of Mandy? I'm not a big Nick Cage guy, to be honest with you, but I thought it was really, really well directed. I believe it was directed by the guy, I forget his goddamn name. I think it's George P. Cosmatos. He also did Rambo 2. He did Cobra. He did Tombstone. He's done some great fucking films, The Father. And the style of Mandy was no goddamn exception. It was beautiful film to look at. The colors, the direction, the visuals, just everything about it. I did enjoy Mandy. I thought Mandy was a good film personally. Not a like again, and I know people will hate me for saying this, but I'm not a fan of Nick Cage. I don't know. I just don't really get into him. But the movie I did like. I did like the film, so I did like Mandy. Mandy was a good movie. I like The Last Shot of Survival of the Dead. I do too. I'll agree. I like The Last Shot of Survival of the Dead, but the movie as a whole, my friend Wes said this best. It looks like a fucking Disney Channel original movie from the fucking 90s or something. Like it has a really cheap look to it, and the CGI is fucking terrible. But it is George's last film, so I have a hard time like crapping on it because I almost feel like I'm crapping on his legacy. Kind of on Survival of the Dead. I don't hate it, but I don't love it at all. Thoughts on Rambo: Last Blood? I didn't mind Rambo: Last Blood. It's definitely the least like best one. It's definitely the weakest one. I'll say that. Like people shit on Rambo 3. Rambo 3 is fucking great. I like Rambo 2 is my favorite. Then First Blood, then Rambo 4, and then Rambo 3, and then The Last Blood. Last Blood, because the problem with Last Blood is it's another Taken film. It's Stallone in a Taken film. That's all it is. Like, and it's fine. Like I enjoy they play the Doors. They play 5-1 in the finale, and he's fucking killing people. That's fun. But getting there, kind of middle of the road, man. Not a horrible movie, but certainly he didn't even have to call that Rambo. Like he could have called that something else. You could have called it Taken 4 with Sly, like instead of Liam Neeson. Like I think that's easily what they could have done. Fido was great. Yeah, I really liked Fido. And I think that's the movie George, like I always said that George Romero wanted to make that movie. Like that was the movie. Like if I watched Land of the Dead and Fido, back to back, Fido has so many better ideas and concepts. I think it's just the fact that they took more of a comedic route that I don't think Romero would have done. I think Romero would have tackled that more seriously, and I think it would have changed the world. I really do. But I do love Fido for what it is. I think that's a really underrated zombie film. What are my thoughts on Ghost of Mars? Ghost of Mars is a piece of shit. I don't like Ghost of Mars at all. I would say the worst Carpenter film is Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I think that's the worst Carpenter film. I like the Ward. Everybody fucking hates it. I'm the only motherfucker I know that likes the Ward. I like the Ward. I don't hate the Ward. I don't get the fucking hate. It's a fucking asylum film with Amber Heard's sexy ass in it. She may be a horrible person in real life, but she is sexy. I mean, I can't you can't deny that. And I enjoy the film. I don't think Daniel Panabaker was bad. I thought the era was fine. I thought the atmosphere was good. It didn't have that classic Carpenter scope, but it still had a nice enough scope at least. I think it's on par with the Masters of Horror episodes he did, like Pro Life. I would put it even above that personally. I don't know. I love Cigarette Burns, but I don't know. I don't get the hate for that's one I don't get the hate for. Ghost of Mars, though, totally. I don't like Ghost of Mars. I don't really even like Escape from LA. I'm not even a big fan of that. Yeah, Ghost of Mars blows. Ghost of Mars is a piece of shit. I love Carpenter, but that movie sucks. Oh, cool. Another person liked the Ward. Cool, great. I'm glad I'm not alone. Thoughts on Overlord? Didn't see Overlord. I heard it was going to be like the unofficial Cloverfield 4, and then when I heard it wasn't, I kind of just bailed. But I've heard that people really liked it. And I know it didn't do that well. I don't think it did that well in the box office, unfortunately. But I don't know. I didn't have any interest. I've heard good things though. I don't know. Maybe one day, but I'm definitely more interested in seeing another Cloverfield movie because I like all three. I even liked the Cloverfield Paradox, which people seem to fucking hate. But is what it is. All right, though, we've been at this for an hour and a half. I want to thank anybody and everybody that joined, anybody and everybody that has supported Grande's Graveyard over the last illustrious 50 fucking episodes. It's unbelievable. I will be back next week with the Predator franchise. Going to be a lot of fun talking Arnold. Going to be fun talking a lot of, awesome Predator series moments. It's going to be a lot of fun. My good buddy Ryan's going to be joining me. That's really going to be awesome. So I really enjoy that. Ryan's a good friend. Not Ryan Schneider, Ryan Larkin. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We really have a good time on that. So thank you all for tuning in. Too sweet. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and keep it creepy, ladies and gents. Too sweet, guys. Peace. Cheers to 50 episodes.